This is the dashboard where there's two sets of data. There's the traditional data, people, business, solar. What this is public records that get traced to the contact info. So what do I mean? Homeowners, everyone's a tax assessment record. So we know the owners, and then we go up and we give trace to get the cell phone or landline. And you notice how some of these have NA. We have an easy solution. You just flip this switch right here, search, either by hitting enter or by hitting the search button. And you're now going to be left with only the records that have that contact information available. Second, the custom databases. Now, all of those databases we just looked at over here, and the terminology brick, right within here, here's your brick. So the debt relief intent may have been of people looking for the straight up debt relief, or it might have been near bankruptcy for my credit card, or how to pay off loans. Any of those combinations could have been used for this particular one. You get the same permissions. So when we build you a brick, no one else gets access to it for a month and a half. So it's your custom amount that you want to do. This is people researching business valuation. This is someone looking up to sell their home. And you'll notice how they're dated from February or week 4. They go on continuously, depending on when people ask for and when they were subscribed. So if you're subscribed month after month and you do business lending, you'd end up getting every single lending database. Is a merchant cash one that one person pays us for, and then a business lender. The thing that to make clear is they use the same keywords. They just wanted it to be different names because that's what they sell. And what I mean directly is maybe you applied for an SBA loan, but you're 6 months in business, no revenue, no employees. You're not going to get an SBA loan. So your only option would be a merchant cash or a hard money loan based on your credit and based on your asset. So same thing with IUL, where you're 70 years old and you're applying for IUL and you don't have money, you're not going to get an IUL. You're going to get final expense. So just things to think about when you are making your bricks, saying, hey, I want business lending as one brick and merchant cash advance as a second. You have all the flexibility to filter on this side right here. I'm not going to go through this. There's a lot of videos and a lot of creativity you can do. Every record, you have the ability to make sure that all of them either have a cell phone, an email, or they have any particular contact method. Just like before, the switch, you remove all the NAs. So now every record in here has a mobile phone. Now to the skip tracing and enrichment. Same process. When you buy and save a list, you now can send it off to other destinations. A lot of you guys who are here, you guys all know about send email, send to go high level. Now there are these two new buttons called internal enrichment and external enrichment. Internal is you being able to take the data that you saved and then you being able to compare it to another database. So you can pull out the similar record. Home remodeling, and we'll see this one. People looking for February week. Maybe want to see how long someone was particularly looking for something. So when you select the database you want to enrich it to, you're presented with the table of the initial set of data. This is the data set we want to compare to. One way that I like to do it is address. So I'm going to go pull the address from the personal address field right here, and I'll hit enrich, and it's going to take a few minutes. So now we can select what we want to join. So if we matched everything with personal address, in this example, both of these are the same types of data. So these fields are already filled. But after you hit join, you can hit save list, name it. And just like before, you buy the list over again, it ends up saving here. That's the first thing. So why would someone want to do that? Because maybe someone has a list of LinkedIn URLs, and with those LinkedIn URLs, you would like to figure out who it goes to. So if someone brings you a list of 500,000 LinkedIn URLs, you can upload that into your agency in the white label, and then you would be able to, just like we selected the database just now, you would be able to select that new data set you upload and then enrich it to any of the existing databases that are there. I just got the file delivered of the enrichment, and this is the new file. And if we see, I'm not going to go column by column, but now all these columns were external enrichment. It allows the user to take the address of the phone number or email and send it to a real-time private investigating source that returns the current phone number, and it will give you the phone plan. And just a new thing we added, because if you know what batch skip tracing is, the software, basically it's the same thing except more accurate, and it's a white label. So now if you want to resell the same functional enrichment to compare the phone number and get the most recent one, same process. Someone comes to you with a list of homeowner data because they scraped it from the tax assessment and they want the phone numbers. Well, now they can provide that to your system in your white label and then select the external enrichment up. With the external enrichment, you will automatically be the least expensive option on the market. Batch skip tracing is that's the go-to for a lot of people. They charge $600 for 10,000 records being enriched. Within this internal data source, if you pay us $8.99, You have no limit. The only limit you have is the speed, which is 1,000 records a minute currently that can be processed. But you don't have any limit in terms of how much enrichment you can do with the internal enrichment for the $8.99. And there's a lot you can sell it for. The external enrichment, again, is going to cost 4 cents each. We have to spend a lot of money to get the price where we want it to be, so we haven't figured that out just yet. But within here, you don't have to be on the $8.99 plan. You would just have to pre-buy the credits to do the enrichment. And we're going to add a row right here called external enrichment content credits remaining. And then you'll be able to keep track of what credits you have stored. And you can resell those credits within your own white label. If you flip the switch right here, that admin tab, you now just entered your own white label environment like I was in earlier. But just to take it to full circle, all of that you can then resell in your own piece right here. And when you resell it, this is an example of one white label, gutterleads.com.
I have a question about the external enrichment at 4 cents each. Is that just skip tracing phone numbers, or is there other verified information?
So with that, the only thing you're going to get back is phone number, address, email. There are other tools that we're looking at that are just extraordinarily expensive for $2, like if you want court records or.
Yeah, so you just said with the external enrichments for 4 cents per record, you're updating, basically skip tracing and confirming phone number, email, and address, all three?
Correct.
That's pretty cool.
But Brian, does it drop down to 2 cents over 100,000?
So is there any free data enrichment, or is it all a cost?
The internal, well, anyone that's on the $4.99 account, that's been on the $4.99 account, is getting internal enrichment. But anyone in future that wants to use the internal enrichment, you have to be on the $8.99 plan. But anyone that's signed up currently on the $4.99 plan gets the internal enrichment because you guys have been around for a few months.
So what's that internal enrichment do to solar leads right there, those 2,000 leads?
Theoretically, with these solar leads, if you wanted to then upload a list of people looking for solar, you might be able to tie the 8 solar leads to the people looking for solar, actually, and basically build your own analysis. So we go up, look for the address. We'll do the personal address for now. Click enrich. No records found. So I just tried to enrich to a database where it didn't find anything. But there's bigger databases in here, and as you get to find more, you get to add to your number. So the business database has 36 million records.
Why are we not using this to do HELOCs? I just saw you have people doing high intent, HELOC, home equity, line of credit.
Line of credit. I don't think we have anybody doing that yet. That's a good one. That I imagine
That's correct.
somebody's going to find tremendous value in that.